Hello out there. How is the weather in your area? Is it the heat? Is it raining? Or you're just cold? Well, whatever it is, it feels great to be with you on News Extra, the news package that comes with the extra touch. We start tonight with good news for all Nigerians as the Federal Executive Council's move gets the Port Harcourt Refinery up and running. Now, security issues have become big issues, and we have quite a bit on that, beginning with the state of the bill for an act to establish an Armed Forces Service Commission, all the way to the rescue of 10 abducted members of 2 families. Now, health is another matter that is taking a chunk of our airtime tonight, from a strange illness in Kano to snake bites in Gombe, to the current heat wave we are all complaining about. You don't want to miss these stories. And of course, a bit on sports and Thursday's weather prospects. Now, that is a rough idea of the lineup for tonight, but you get to see much more if you stay with me. After all, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. I am Fatima Maruba, and this is News Extra. I welcome you. The Federal Executive Council has approved $1.5 billion for the rehabilitation of Port Harcourt Refinery in Rivers State. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Mifi Silva, announced this while briefing journalists after the Council's meeting, presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adam Sambo reports on this and other resolutions adopted in furtherance of efforts at achieving sustainable growth and development of the country.
It was the 9th meeting of Nigeria's highest policy decision-making body for the year 2021 and 38 to be conducted virtually in compliance with the COVID-19 safety advisory. 4 memoranda presented by ministers were considered and approved by the Council towards sustaining the upward trajectory in the nation's quest for a prosperous future. Amongst them is the one by the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Mifi Silva, on the rehabilitation of Port Harcourt Refinery.
And that memo was approved by Council today, so we're happy to announce that the rehabilitation of Port Harcourt Refinery will commence forthwith. It is in 3 phases. The first phase is to be completed in 18 months, which will take the refinery to a production of 90% of its nameplate capacity. The second phase is to be completed in 24 months. The final stage will be completed in 44 months.
Required funds for the project to be handled by an Italian company, the minister said, have already been provided, and as part of the conditions agreed with the lenders, a professional operations and maintenance company is to be engaged to effectively manage the refinery after the rehabilitation exercise.
It is actually a desire of the administration to ensure that our refineries work, and that is the process that has borne fruit today. When the other refineries will also be rehabilitated, discussions are ongoing. We want to take one at a time, and I want to assure you that before the lifetime of this administration expires, work on all the refineries would have at least commenced. On the issue of local participation, as you know, there is a local content law, so our local people will be fully involved with Technimont SPA.
The Council also approved a contract variation of 8.6 billion naira for the completion of Enugu-Onitsha Highway project.
The variation was to cater for the change of the pavement surface, the binder cost and the wearing cost, to increase the thickness and also to utilize modified bitumen and also to strengthen the shoulders and some bridge works.
On his part, the Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Ihanere, secured the Council's approval on behalf of the NCDC for the procurement of various laboratory equipment and supplies valued at 3.07 billion naira.
It is to strengthen the work of NCDC in various parts of the countries to be more ready for the work they do in diagnostics, in preparedness, not only for COVID-19, but for any other disease outbreak of public interest in the future.
Also approved at the weekly meeting is the reviewed National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan 2020 to 2043.
There are about 7 asset classes that are contained in the master plan. This is in the areas of transportation, energy, ICT, agriculture, water and mining, social infrastructure, housing and regional development, security and vital registration.
Apart from the embedded macroeconomic framework, the new master plan, as the minister explained, also provides for the establishment of the National Council on Infrastructure to be chaired by the Vice President. It is to provide policy direction on all matters relating to the provision of infrastructure across Nigeria. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The Senate has been preoccupied with interventions in national security matters. At Tuesday's plenary, it was an extensive debate on a constitution amendment bill seeking to establish the Armed Forces Service Commission. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports that the bill met a roadblock en route second reading.
It was the second plenary of the week, and the first order of the day was the bill that seeks to establish Armed Forces Service Commission. Sponsor of the bill and minority leader of the Senate, Enyin Naya Baribe, provided the synopsis of the bill, which, among other issues, seeks to ensure federal character principle in the appointment of service chiefs.
The establishment of this commission is informed by the imperative to give effect to the provisions of Section 217 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic to ensure that the composition, appointment of service chiefs of the Armed Forces of the Federation reflects the said section.
This commission would go a very long way to address certain concerns and also to strengthen the unity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
There is a police commission that oversights the police. In any case, it does not even tamper with the powers of the president to appoint service chiefs. No.
And there's already in existence a defense council which combine the joint forces. Therefore, Mr. President, I think I want to urge that the mover of this bill do withdraw the bill.
The commission cannot know who is competent, because by the time we establish this bill, the military will be politicized.
That power to make the appointment is already conferred on Mr. President, and that's a constitutional provision.
I don't think there is really any need at this level. In terms of principles of the motion, I think the motion passes every test that it should go and pass the second reading.
Eventually, it was rejected.
This bill be now read a second time. Say aye. Those against say nay. The nays have it.
And the sponsor remained unbowed, calling for another round of voting, relying under Order 73 of the Senate Standing Orders. This led to a heated atmosphere and culminated into a closed-door session where the contention was resolved.
Our minority leader, having heard our appeal that we don't have to go into the ruling of the order he raised,
in order to preserve the dignity of these hallowed chambers, I wish to withdraw my Order 73.
It's now expected that the bill will be represented at a later date after due consultations. The Senate has adjourned to Tuesday, 23rd of March, 2021. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
The lingering challenge of insecurity in the country is of utmost concern to the House of Representatives. This prompted its latest attempt to confront it head-on with another approach to work with the executive. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The House commenced plenary Wednesday. It immediately went into closed door. The meeting resolved to set up a special security committee comprising all 10 principal officers and 30 other House members, as announced by the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila.
We need to get to work straight away and present a report 2-3 weeks from now to the House for onward transmission to to the President.
Security beef up in airports across the country was another resolution of House members when Representative Mohammed Musa gave a reminder on the recent incident in the staff quarters at Kaduna Airport on the kidnap of persons on March 6, 2021.
Bandits gain access to the airport staff quarters through the runway and made away with their victims.
The lawmakers adopted the motion from Representative Ben Rowlands calling for investigation into the suspension of operations at the Warri Refining and Petrochemical Company by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation.
The commencement of local production will help to mitigate the incessant and upward price adjustment of petroleum products, ameliorate the hardship and inflation that comes with such exercise to Nigeria and Nigerians.
The 11-point recommendation of the Committee on Procurements following investigations on allegation of infraction at Project Development Institute, PRODA, Enugu, part of which urged the suspension of the Acting Director General, was considered and approved.
The Project Development Institute, PRODA, Enugu, to stop all further procurement activities on the 2020 budget and pay contractors, suppliers and consultants who have executed their contracts, and those contracts have been verified.
Plenary featured second reading of a bill seeking the putting in place of mechanisms to enforce constitution provisions on rights of citizens from Representative Musa Saidu, and a bill seeking amendments to Persons with Disabilities Act sponsored by Representative Blessing Onyeche from the Assembly. Lami Ali, NTA News.
Now to some good news. Sometime last week, 2 families had 10 of their members kidnapped at a village near the Kaduna International Airport. 8 of those kidnapped were members of one family. The good news is that they have all been rescued. The State Commissioner for International Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arwan, who disclosed this, said the rescued victims are receiving treatment at an unspecified hospital where the state governor, Nasir El-Rufai, has visited.
Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai has received the report of the rescue with elation and has extended hearty congratulations to the troops for the successful rescue.
Those who know Governor El-Rufai will not be surprised by his stance on bandits and kidnappers. FCT residents who witnessed his tenure as minister will bear witness here. So barely 24 hours after an extraordinary security meeting with stakeholders, the governor has again restated his government's stance never to negotiate with any group of bandits or pay ransom for the release of abducted students in the state. The governor was speaking when the chief of the air staff, Air Marshal Ishaku Amao, came calling at the Government House, Kaduna, to discuss ways of ensuring the safe return of the abducted students. Mohammed Umar Ajingi reports.
It is the first official visit of the Chief of Air Staff to the Government House since assumption of office. And it is coming at a time the state is seeking for the support of the Air Force to rescue the abducted students of Federal College of Forestry Mechanization, Africa, and the teachers of Rema Primary School, Pinungwari. The Air Chief says his men will do all they can to rescue the abducted students.
We are out for them, and the armed forces is out. The CDS and the service chiefs, we are determined.
The state government restated its confidence in the ability of the Air Force to deal with the bandits.
We were able to rescue 180. They are only able to get away with 39. Those 39 lives matter to us, and we will do whatever we can to get them back, but we will not pay a penny as ransom. All the stakeholders supported us that the position that we've taken is the right position. In fact, one of the stakeholders suggested that we should make the payment of ransom a criminal offense, because if the ransom is not paid, the business will end.
That shows Nigerians that the Air Force is intensifying air surveillance to rescue the abducted students. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
And the personal vehicle of the Emir of Birnungwari was attacked on its way to Kaduna. Abdullahi Mohammed reports that despite the damage to the vehicle by bullet shots, driver of the vehicle and security men attached to the emir survived the attack.
The vehicle riddled with bullet holes on the windshield and the driver's side door indicates how vicious the attack was. It's clear the target was to hit the driver and halt the vehicle, but the security personnel attached to the vehicle was on top of his game. The Emir of Birnin-Gwari, Zubairu Jibrin Megwari II, was supposed to travel in the car, but somehow he decided to take another option.
At the last minute, I decided to ask for relief from Nigerian Air Force, and they were the ones who brought me to Kaduna that evening. And so that's how God made it. I was not in the car, but it's clear that the bandits targeted my car, and Allah protected my driver and my orderly.
His driver, who survived the attack, remembered vividly the sorrowful incident.
We were heading towards a highland, and suddenly they began to throw obstacles, and thereafter shots from various points. And our security returned fire until we scaled through their traps.
In Kaduna, Abdullahi Mohammed, NTA News.
Cutting off the stream of supply of arms to criminals is the task the Nigeria police are executing currently. Police Public Relations Officer Frank Mba disclosed this to newsmen in Abuja while parading 50 kidnapped suspects, including members of a major ammunition supply syndicate who were arrested conveying 1,565 AK-47 ammunitions to bandits. Francis Form reports.
Prince of criminals, 44-year-old, jailed several times for high-profile crimes. Just December last year, he was granted pardon in Kaduna Correctional Center. Despite this benevolence, no sign of repentance. He may likely revisit the correctional center again after found with a pistol.
A bygone. I said, how will we get the bullet? He said, let me send the money to Bullet. I send the money to Bullet. That is the way they catch me.
This 20-year-old suspect specializes in altering international mobile identification number, a talent he has obviously misplaced.
How many phones have you changed the IMEI number? 8, sir. Techno and Infinix, sir.
A gang of 6 specializes in robbing residential areas. They confirmed carrying out robbery operations in Kwara, Ondo, and Abuja, and also admitted profiling their victims before operations. Also paraded was a gang of 3 who conspired to kidnap manager of AYM Ashafa filling station in Zaria, Kaduna State.
We are working with both our local intelligence sources as well as our international partners to ensure that we're able to cut down the free flow of arms and ammunition.
Parade over. Next step is the courtroom, where their fate will be decided by those on the wicks. Francis Form, NTA News.
The perception about the few chosen recognized as frontliners in the theater of war against terrorists and bandits may no longer hold, as the media is also stepping up its roles in changing the narrative and sustaining healthy information culture. Abakar Usman Akwanga reports that already the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria is engaging the management of the Northeast Development Commission.
Northeast region has suffered severe setback from terrorist attack for about a decade, and collaborations to end the dark era and return sanity to the affected region is gaining momentum.
People need to have the right information, the relevant information.
Synergy to galvanize key players is now being brokered by Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria with this visit to Northeast Development Commission.
What the insurgents have done is to use some of our weaknesses, to exploit those weaknesses and continue to do what they are doing. Along the line, convincing people who are very vulnerable because they don't have the right information at their own disposal. So therefore, we as Radio Nigeria, we think that We are partners that can help in the rebuilding of the society itself.
The Northeast Development Commission says the collaboration will strengthen security architecture, improve socio-economic well-being, and enhance quality information.
We are trying to develop a master plan, which needs a lot of publicity for people to know, to engage the stakeholders, even to engage the local people to know what we are doing.
The Commission reiterates commitment to leverage on stakeholders' support to return the region on the path of peace and sustainable development. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
In another development, President of the Senate Ahmed Lawan has called on Saudi Arabian government to release the over 10,000 Nigerians held in Saudi prisons in recognition of the long-existing relations between the two countries. Senator Lawan made the appeal when he granted audience to the Saudi Arabian ambassador to Nigeria, Faisal Al-Ghamdi, where he also reiterated the commitment of the National Assembly to an improved bilateral relations between the two countries.
Nigeria is also making a lot of efforts to ensure that we evacuate our citizens who are now in Saudi Arabia and who we believe should be back home. Presently, our quota, I think, is about 1.5 million barrels per day and maybe 400,000 in condensate. We would request that whenever the opportunity avails itself, we'd like to see a higher quota for Nigeria. We have a very huge population.
Senator Lawan also met with the Namibian High Commissioner to Nigeria, Humphrey Gaisel. Outbreak of strange illness strikes Kano, kills 4 as health experts grapple. Details when News Extra returns. Please stay.
You see some magic? Let's blow some minds! As you can all see, these cards have different numbers written on them. Can you all see? Yeah! You, sir, please, I want to pick any card. Oh my goodness. You, my princess, you have my heart already. Just pick any card. Now, I want to show cards to the audience and don't let me see them. So I want to place the card in your pocket. So what if I told you all these cards are the same? Okay, sir, I want to show us your card. Just wait a second. I want to check into your beautiful shoe. As you can all see, all the numbers are 777. 777 is the magic number.
The whole sensational world of Glow, now accessible through one code, *777#. Magic lives here.
For you to tanda for this world, you gats know what's up. Sabi wetin dey ground, then start to do your own. Get ginger to sabi every. Because when you fit see the different side of the world, anything dey possible. BBC News for Pidgin, make your life better.
Dear customer, link your national identification number to your Airtel router, Mifi and ODU devices today. Log on to www.airtel.com.ng/HBB to access the Airtel HBB self-care portal. Click on Submit NIN from the displayed options and then enter your 11-digit NIN details. You will get a confirmation message immediately after. If you're using a universal device with Airtel SIM, don't worry, we got you covered as well. Just log on to www.airtel.com.ng/NIN. Insert your home broadband device number and wait for confirmation. Once confirmed, type in your alternate number and email where you will receive a one-time password. Insert the OTP to verify the account. Fill in your 11-digit NIN details, submit, and you're good to go. Airtel, the smartphone network.
House of Representatives Committee on National Planning and Economic Development invites all major stakeholders to a one-day public hearing and to submit memoranda on the need for Nigeria to develop a long-term social and economic development framework vision and the need to make adequate plans for a post-oil economy in Nigeria. Date, Monday 22nd March 2021, time 9 a.m. Venue, Conference Hall 28, House of Representatives New Building Complex, Abuja. Honorable Dr. Cook Olududu, Chairman. Announcer.
As you adjust to the new realities for operating your business and engaging with your customers, let us help you transform your business into a digital powerhouse capable of adapting and taking advantage of today's opportunities. With our best-in-class array of digital solutions, you can conduct your business, receive payments from your customers, and perform transactions quickly, safely, and conveniently, because we've got you covered with the right people, technology, and service offerings. Contact us today and let us take your business to its zenith. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
I did look for pension fund administrator. We're soft, make sense, we care for me. Shy. No be the time when story go enter the matter when it's time to deliver. Oh no. The brand is sure them no go stress you. Call them then they accessible. Yes, customer care where they on point. You no go regret when you try, of course. Profitable investment, everything is just a blend. If you don't want it good for you, my guy, make you choose premium pension today. Make that switch to premium pension. Premium pension. Make that switch to premium pension.
Join over 700,000 satisfied members and enjoy the premium experience at our offices across the 36 states in Nigeria, including the FCT. Call 094615-700-704 to make the switch today. Premium pension. Active today, premium tomorrow.
The general public is hereby invited to the ancient city of Bidda to witness the maiden edition of the Unity Derby organized by the Turf Club Federation of Nigeria. The three-day event will be rounded off on Sunday, 21st March 2021 at Kilometer 5, Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar Racecourse, Bidda. Time 12 noon. Special guest of honor, His Excellency Senator Hope Uzodinma, Executive Governor of Imo State. Guests of honor, Executive Governor of Kwara State and Sokoto State, as well as Colonel Dangiwa Umar, retired, former military administrator of Kaduna State. Host, His Excellency Alhaji Abubakar Sani Bello, Executive Governor of Niger State. Royal Father of the occasion, His Eminence Muhammad Saad Abubakar, CFR, Sultan of Sokoto. Royal guests, His Royal Highness Ambassador Ahmed Nuhu Bamali, Sarkin Zazzau. His Imperial Majesty Oba Dr. Frederick Obateru Enicholarundo, Akinrunton, CON, Olugbo of Ugboland, and Alhaji Dr. Shehu Mohammed Chindo Yamusa III, Emir of Kefi. Royal host, His Royal Highness Dr. Yahaya Abubakar, CFR, Etsunupe, and Chairman Niger State Council of Traditional Rulers. May Almighty Allah give you the grace to attend. Announcer Alhaji Mustafa Abubakar Bidda, FCNA, Sarkin Dawai Kinupe.
Great to have you back. Border communities in Jigawa State continue to bubble with joy as the Border Communities Development Agency gradually meets their infrastructural needs. This was demonstrated in Kazauri, where the agency inaugurated some intervention projects. Awal Muhammad Kazauri tells us all about it.
The Border Communities Development Agency is currently working in 21 states across 105 local government areas and more than 3,000 communities. By this intervention, the agency says it is touching the lives of over 20 million Nigerians' population. In Kazauri, Jigawa State, the border agency inaugurated solar-powered boreholes, flag of micro-cell cluster farming for cultivation of fish, vegetables and fruits, as well as reactivates 2 hectares shelter belt for training of youths on modern agriculture. Others are construction of junior secondary school, laboratory block, staff quarters and perimeter fence of the school.
So obviously we are satisfied, and our satisfaction comes from the fact that the people who are the beneficiaries were very appreciative.
The Border Communities Development Agency has between 2015 to 2020 executed 96 projects in Jigawa State alone. From Dutse, Awal Muhammad Kazaure, NTA News.
Obviously, is a thing of joy. The National Social Investment Program is one of the largest social security programs in the country, transforming the lives of Nigerians, especially the vulnerable. The 20,000 naira cash grant under the scheme may seem small to some people, but the economic impact on most rural women and the underserved is huge. So when the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, in collaboration with the Osun State Government, extended this cash grant of 20,000 naira to 3,270 rural women in Osun State, their joy knew no bounds. Joshua Ogunjide is standing by with details.
The National Social Investment Program, NSIP, is one of the largest social protection programs in Africa, with over $1 billion earmarked annually to collectively address some economic and developmental challenges Nigeria is grappling with. With the creation of the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development by President Muhammadu Buhari in 2019, these programs have been structured and revamped to respond to peculiarities of different parts of the country and to enhance impact on target beneficiaries. This is why a cash grant of 20,000 naira is being disbursed to about 125,000 poor women across the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. In Osun State, the target is to disburse the grant to over 3,500 beneficiaries across the 30 local government councils.
The grant for Rural Women Program was introduced in 2020 to sustain the social inclusion agenda of President Buhari's administration.
Osun State is no different, as it is phenomenal in having impact on the welfare of the vulnerables in the society, with 30,000 vulnerable individuals to be fed on a monthly basis under the Osun Food Support Scheme.
We believe that every effort to take care of the vulnerable is to vote for the peace, security, and prosperity of the nation and its constituent states.
Concerns were also raised on gender-based violence in the state, just as beneficiaries were urged to make judicious use of the grant.
We need more women in position. We don't want to be clapping and dancing all the time. Women are rugged, very useful, helpful to one another.
We have about 122 women list that they will empower on Thursday too. So we really appreciate the government of Osun State.
With this 20,000 naira, I will use it, I will invest on it at least to make life better for me and my family or my catering work.
Up to 5% of the total number of beneficiaries is allocated to persons with disability, PWDs. The distribution of the grant is to be completed in the next 10 days. With this development, the country remains on the track of lifting 100 million vulnerable individuals out of poverty by the year 2030. From Osogbo, Osun State, Joshua Ogunjide, NTA News.
From a good one in Osun now to a sad one in Kano, where again we hear an outbreak of a strange illness that has led to hospitalization of more than 200 individuals. Already, 4 of the victims have given up the ghost, as confirmed by health authorities. Definitive cause of the illness remains unknown as experts and relevant agencies try to unravel the mystery alongside managing identified victims and preventing further spread of the disease. Elizabeth Yilalamido reports that so far the ailment has been detected in 13 local government areas of the state.
I took ginger drink that was locally made, and my stomach started paining, then headache, and I stopped recognizing people.
She woke up from sleep and wanted to urinate. I noticed the urine was completely red. Her elder brother is also having the same sickness.
About 7 of us in my house were admitted. 5 have been discharged.
These are some of the patients exhibiting symptoms of fever, yellowish discoloration of the eyes, hematuria, abdominal pain, general body weakness, and vomiting.
The index case was a 6-year-old girl shortly after drinking water that was from a borehole within the premises of Dandolo Cemetery. With further investigations, it was revealed that individuals that came with such symptoms were said to have also consumed prepared juice from instant flavored drink powder. A variety of salt for industrial use was also said to have been consumed, as well as caustic powders, which is supposed to be used for cadaver preservation.
Series of tests were carried out to ascertain the root cause of the disease.
Water sample, chemical analysis done and found to be normal. Blood samples for Lassa fever and yellow fever, hepatitis and liver function tests revealed non-reactive and normal findings. And chemical analysis by NAFDAC, the result will also be received soon.
Though not contagious, it is still not known what caused this ailment. With 101 persons treated and discharged, about 183 persons are currently receiving treatment in 25 private and public health facilities across the state. To this effect, the State Environmental Health Service Task Force took proactive measures through surveillance as well as spot checks and confiscated expired assorted foods and drinks worth 59 million naira. In Kano, Elizabeth Yilalamido, NTA News.
There have been commitments by both the federal and state governments towards the supply of anti-snake venom at the Snakebite Treatment and Research Hospital, Kaltungo, in Gombe State. However, high cost for the treatment of snake bites and late presentation of victims to the hospital are some of the factors responsible for mortality rate of snakebite victims. Talata Lama tells us more.
Bite Treatment and Research Hospital, Kaltungo, Gombe State, is the only hospital in the northeast where cases of snake bites are handled. Since its establishment in 1994, victims of snake bites from within and outside the region report at the hospital for treatment. In 2020, the hospital recorded about 2,734 cases of snake bites, while over 200 victims were recorded this year, with a higher percentage, usually between March and April, due to the hot weather condition. The Snakebite Treatment and Research Hospital, Kaltungo, receives vials of anti-snake venom from federal and state government. Unfortunately, most of the victims who are peasant farmers and herders cannot afford the treatment, as 4 to 6 vials of the anti-snake venom is required, which cost between 160 to 240,000 naira.
Most instances where patients cannot afford, what we encourage is sometimes we inform religious bodies and philanthropists who could support. Other times, the staff actually contribute, to raise money for those patients. But in instances where none of this is available, the patient is left to their fate.
Other challenges at the hospital are inadequate manpower and bed capacity to cater for the victims. Abdul Rashid Garba, a 16-year-old teenager, is one out of the 71 victims currently on admission at the hospital. Unfortunately, he reported 12 days after bitten by a snake. This led to the amputation of his limbs. We have spent 8 days in the hospital receiving treatment, and there is much improvement. Health expert at the Snakebite Treatment and Research Hospital, Kaltungo, Dr. Ibrahim Agom, stated that early presentation to the hospital will reduce the rate of permanent disability and mortality rate of victims of snake bites. From the Snakebite Treatment and Research Hospital, Kaltungo, I am Talatu Lama, NTA News.
Thank you, Talatu. And in a bid to complement and improve the successes recorded in the fight against COVID-19 and other viral diseases in the country by the federal government, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has built, equipped, and inaugurated a molecular laboratory at the Alex Ekweme Federal University Teaching Hospital, Abakaliki. Caleb Obuna reports.
The molecular laboratory adjudged to have met World Health Organization standard was built for the diagnosis of COVID-19, Lassa fever and other viral diseases. The Director General Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, Dr. Chikwe Ihiakwazo, after inspecting and inaugurating the facility, assured of its effectiveness and readiness for use.
This is part of the federal government's program as a result of the COVID-19 outbreak to support the country so that we never find ourselves in this type of situation.
The laboratory is situated at the Institute for Viral Diseases, Research, Treatment and Control Center of the hospital. Stakeholders say we go a long way in addressing the health challenges posed by viral diseases in the Southeast Zone and beyond.
The lab is very strategic, very important in the management of these cases.
Very proud to say outrightly that the realization of this molecular laboratory project will take our young and enterprising federal teaching hospital to the next level.
I want to add value to the health sector.
The project has further boosted the people's confidence in the present administration's commitment in initiating projects and programs that will enhance the health condition of the Nigerian populace and as well contain any further outbreak. In Abakaliki, Kele Bubuna, NTA News.
I'm going to ask this. Are you feeling the heat? Many are feeling it. Although Africa is among the least in carbon emissions, it is most vulnerable to the adverse effect of climate change. Extreme weather conditions are now common occurrences in the region, and Nigeria is having its share, with heat wave witnessed across the country. Onege Fanfest reports on this weather condition, its implications, and possible remedy.
Only a few weeks ago, some countries in Europe, Asia, and America witnessed extreme cold weather conditions that resulted in deaths. Another extreme weather condition is being witnessed, this time heat wave in Nigeria.
In Abuja now it's very hot, and coming out for you to do carry out your normal activities, you must experience the heat, and it's not really easy.
It's very scorching, very hard, very hot, and unimaginable. Sometimes I feel like I'm choking.
Environmental scientists consider the unfavorable weather as manifestation of climate change caused mostly by global warming, with increased carbon emissions into the atmosphere.
There is a need for us to take climate change very seriously because we can observe this change in temperature. We can observe that our weather has become very extreme. Either we're having flooding or we're having heat waves.
And then as the month progresses like that, the temperatures are expected to continue to be on the increase. So we are feeling more discomfort now because there is a momentary increased cloudiness. And so it's making your sweat not to evaporate as easily as it does before.
With heat wave comes medical conditions that could go from mild to fatal if not managed properly. Dr. Ndakotsu Andrew has been managing patients presenting with heat wave related symptoms.
So if you have a background heart disease, or you have poor sugar control like in diabetes, or maybe a poor, let's say a background kidney disorder, you understand, it can actually make those organs to acutely fail.
There are lifestyle adjustments that can be adopted to maintain good health when the weather is extremely hot.
Drink a lot of water. Then you try and make sure that you reduce your heat production. You understand? Try and limit your movement. Dress for the weather. You understand? Wear loose clothes. When I say drinking water, I really mean water. Stay off carbonated drinks and also, caffeine, because carbonated drinks also, they make us to diarrhea. You understand? Make us to pee more.
Now, while experts are recommending immediate solutions like staying out of the sun and getting hydrated, they also say that a more sustainable solution lies in nature. That is, take action. Plant a tree today to make the environment cooler and safer for all. In Abuja, Onege Fanfest, NTA News.
Let's show plant a tree today. For 2 months, residents of Kafanchan and adjoining communities have been without electricity. You know why? I will tell you. Some youths who were protesting tariff increase vandalized some power equipment. Kim Gwartz has the situation reports.
Hilda Getson, seller of ice block
is out of business with the outage of electricity supply. She says the situation led to hike in price of generators and cannot afford.
The COVID-19 came, it affected so many people, and now again this power outage is affecting us seriously. Cannot sell our products any longer.
A welder, Chijoke Achuku, faces a daily expense of 6,000 naira diesel purchase to remain in business. He says it's high for a small business.
Formerly, we manage gas of 1.5, but right now, if we want to run full wedding, we can spend up to 5,000 naira gas in a day. And sometimes when we do, this doesn't come out of it.
However, for those selling and fixing generators, the story is different.
Since there's no lights in Kafanchan, that is a little bit high in sales of generator now.
Like 50 or 60 in a day. People are coming, they are trooping because of just no lights.
Chairman, Jama'a Local Government Council and other stakeholders are working with officials of Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company to restore supply.
We had a fruitful meeting with the management of Kaduna Electric and then presented the resolution of our meetings to see that this issue is resolved.
We don't want you to continue taking law into their hand, to destroying government property or any company properties. We have advising them not to take law into their hand. If there's anything, they are supposed to come to the stakeholder. Maybe we'll go there and make our complaint. Maybe we know that the company will take care about the issues.
We are working tirelessly to see that issue of electricity, we have ensured that we restore it back.
It will be recalled a peaceful protest turned violent, leading to destruction of distribution infrastructure. From Kafanchan, Kim Goetz, NTA News.
Political will to sustain engagement with the private sector remains key for regional market exploration. Details after this commercial break.
Son, being good at something requires strength. It requires putting in more. That's why the new improved Bonvita is packed with vitality and a richer, creamier taste.
It is time for celebration. 30 years bustling with goodness, The challenge can never ever stop us. You can't underrate us. You can't underrate. Water Guinness, bustling with so much greatness. Water Guinness, enjoy a world of good. 30 years of nourishing goodness.
If life were a game where every choice brought you closer to your dream, would you stay where you're unappreciated? Or would you somehow take that first step to changing things for yourself? At ARM Pensions, it's not about who you are, it's about who you play with. Join the team that appreciates you. Switch to ARM Pensions today.
In my house, we may look alike, but we are very different individuals. Everybody believes their way is best. That's why Golden Penny Pasta is our favorite meal.
Golden Penny Pasta, made with durum wheat, is tasty, nutritious, a source of protein and fiber, and non-sticky. So you can cook, serve, and eat your pasta just the way you like it. With Golden Penny Pasta, your way is best.
We have that available. Babes, are you hungry?
Famished. Just always remember, you deserve a break.
Yes, we can provide.
You can indulge in a cup of 3-in-1 Cadbury Hot Chocolate. Cadbury Hot Chocolate. Indulge. Now available in the 450 grams pouch.
Like a bird needs wings to fly, you need skills to be productive. No matter the level of your education, ITF can train you to acquire skills in areas like mechatronics, metal machining, facility technology, electronics and computer networking, information and communication technology, ICT, culinary art, and agriculture. Acquire a skill and transform yourself from being unemployed to becoming even an employer. Be a valuable Nigerian youth. Say no to unemployment and poverty.
so high. I'll reach for the stars, yeah, it's time.
Industrial Training Fund, developing the nation's human resource.
When times are tough, we know that as a mother, one thing you should never compromise on is your family's oral health, because they deserve the best. Oral-B, all-round protection. Its great value, it protects your mouth from harmful bacteria and also protects you against tooth holes and gum problems which can lead to tooth loss. It strengthens your family's teeth and gives them all-round protection. So remember, protect their future. Oral-B for healthier, stronger teeth in just 1 week.
Hey, Go TV don't do am again, oh. Then stand by your side, gidigba. Enjoy 32% discount on top Go TV Max. Yes, so if you pay Go TV Jolly for only 2,460 naira, now so Go TV go upgrade you sharply to max levels with 75 plus channels. Abracadabra. I go talk am again. When you reconnect on top Jolly subscription for 2,460 naira, then go summer you with Oga of Entertainment. Go TV Max. Make you enjoy Indian series for Star Life, La Liga, Premier League football, Big Brother Niger highlights on Africa Magic, Nigerian Idol, BET, Cartoon Network, and etc. Better discount, better savings. Go TV truly there your side, oh. Existing Max customers as at first March, not follow for this offer, oh. Terms and conditions dey. Go TV, love it.
Fresh off a derby win, the Gunners travel to take on the Hammers in another London derby. Will they make it 2 out of 2? Find out as West Ham take on Arsenal at the London Stadium this Sunday on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 3:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Access Bank, Baba Ijebu, Lipton Tea, and Close Up in association with Gold.com.
Welcome back to News Extra. So let's talk business now. The federal government has reiterated commitment to ensure all monies earmarked for the economic sustainability plan is fully utilized and implemented. Let's hear more about this from Chimabu Walter Naji on Business Desk. So hello, Chimabu.
Hello, Fatima.
Can you tell us how will this work? I can't wait to hear.
Well, as a matter of fact, the federal government is actually employing the IMAC initiative, introduced by the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning to properly monitor and evaluate the implementation process of government interventions in critical sectors of the economy. The Minister of State, Budget and National Planning, Prince Clem Agba, stated this at the National Hospital, Abuja, during an inspection exercise of the COVID-19 intervention fund of 49 billion naira out of the 128 billion naira medical support fund disbursed to the 52 federal government-owned medical facilities across the country for the provision and equipping of isolation centers, isolation ICUs, and molecular laboratories across the country to boost the fight against the coronavirus.
Monitoring and evaluation, which in the ministry we are putting a lot of focus on. We say we have to IMAC all our projects. We also need citizens to help us to IMAC the projects. Because oftentimes people say government earmarks, budgets are put in place, and we see nothing.
While conducting the minister round the facilities, the chief medical directors of the National Hospital and the Federal Medical Center Abuja noted that the 50% disbursements so far done, the hospitals are ready to handle any emergency that may arise from the COVID-19 pandemic.
Is gotten from the health facilities. And from this, like for example, when we are talking about molecular laboratory, within the last few years, you just think that it's something that's in the US, it's in the UK. This is now virtually in every health facility in Nigeria.
At a time, even face masks were not available. Coveralls were not available worldwide. But today we have enough storage in stock to be able to meet any pandemic or any wave of this disease and other diseases.
And meanwhile, the Nigeria Extractives Industries Transparency Initiative, NTA, has vowed to ensure the recovery of 69.5 billion naira and $5.31 billion outstanding funds captured from NTA's 2018 audit report. The Executive Secretary, NTA Ogbonnaya Orji, who stated this during a press briefing in Abuja, stressed that the monies were potential recoverable revenues, which NTA is poised to recover.
Agency assigned to intro transparency and accountability in the oil and gas industry. Our primary function is to interrogate and be able to investigate revenue flows from the industry. How much of this money have companies paid? How much did government receive?
And according to him, the mining sector contributed 8.19 billion naira in 2017 to the Federation account, and this increased to 67 billion naira in 2018. And now to the capital market, where investors lost 7.68 billion naira as the NSE All Share Index dips by 0.04%, returning market sentiment to negative and closing at 38,706.13 basis points as against 0.41% appreciation recorded previously. Its year-to-date returns currently stands at minus 3.89%. Market breadth closed positive as WAPIC led 12 gainers as against 11 losers, topped by NCR at the end of today's session. And meanwhile, market turnover closes negative as volume moved down by minus 19.68% as against 19.69% uptick recorded in the previous session. Guarantee, Zenith Bank and UBA were the most active to boost market turnover. Guarantee and Zenith Bank topped market value lists. And those are the stories on business. I'll now hand you over to Fatima for the rest of the news.
Thank you so much, Very, very interesting. Now, for Nigeria to fully harness the huge regional market under the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, AFCFTA, government and other key players driving the process must demonstrate needed political will while sustaining engagement with the private sector. This is part of recommendations by speakers at a special conversation organized by the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry to draw a roadmap for the successful implementation of the AFCFTA. Adeni Tayo reports.
The African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, what is at stake for member states is a $1.2 billion population market and a $2.5 trillion GDP. Now, this conversation, organized by the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, LCCI, is to bring together key stakeholders who will brainstorm on how the agreement can be successfully implemented and also give Nigeria economic mileage. Although Nigeria has ratified its document under the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, the country, with about 19% volume of trade in the African regional market, is yet to commence trading under the new agreement.
It has become necessary to deliberate on how we can expedite the implementation of the agreement across countries on this continent.
This panel, made up of key players in the implementation of AFCFTA, believes that growing the numbers and promoting regional trade with little or no barrier is achievable when there is a concerted effort to remove political, social and other bottlenecks in the way of smooth implementation of the agreement.
If we can have that ease of doing business here, so that Nigerians can actually produce things and be able to compete.
We have to look for investors that would invest in infrastructure finance, as well as trade financing.
For most of the speakers, including the Secretary General of the AFCFTA, Wankele Mene, who joined the conversation virtually, unity among African countries and enforcement of the rules of origin protocol to prevent incursion of foreign products are important.
We will have to work very, very closely with our customs authorities to make sure that we prevent transshipment of goods coming in from other countries, from third countries.
The AfCFTA went into force on January 1, 2021, with 54 African countries already on board. In Lagos, Adini Taiwo, NTA News.
It is exactly 3 months since the semi-land border was reopened, but trade and business activities are yet to pick up. There is optimism, however, that the situation will improve, with business operators along the corridor already taking steps to increase the volume of trade. Michael Olale reports.
Seme, a vital gateway to Africa's hinterland, is the busiest land border in Nigeria. And despite the federal government relaxing the 16 months closure of land borders, recuperating has been slow but steady. Precisely missing is the thickness and intensity of import and export, which usually trickle down to improve commercial activities among the people.
Since they opened the border, the activities here is very, very low. Because of the exchange of Benin Republic, people just didn't come like the way they used to come before.
But I think I like it. It's gentle, and you are crossing, nobody gives you wahala.
Regardless of the atmosphere around this corridor, the customs service was still able to intercept goods worth 110 million naira within 3 months. But the satisfaction here is that the agency has handled 220 trucks of goods coming from other West African countries, while 600 trucks of goods have been exported since reopening.
When the borders were open, Nigerian Customs Service gave conditions for such type of goods to be brought into Nigeria. One, they must arrive in Nigeria in their original mode of transportation. So far, we are yet to start that. Not our fault. It has to be the private sector, that is shipping company, the terminal operators.
Since concerted efforts to improve trading around the corridor require synergy, business operators are cooperating with concerned authorities to eliminate impediments.
The Benin counterpart, they are still giving us headache. They don't want to abide with the protocol, transit protocol, that says that we only have administrative fee to pay to them. They still want to collect money from us as if we are paying the normal duty to them.
The optimism is in the air and will definitely heighten with each passing day, and the outcome will no doubt be positive. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
Bank customers who patronize the unstructured supplementary service data code for most of their financial transactions are worried. Why, you may rightly ask? Well, telecoms operators have stopped USSD usage by the bank and other financial institutions in the country due to a huge backlog of service charges. In this special report, our ICT correspondent Joseph Johnson examines the issue between the two elephants, the fate of the grass, that is, the users, and most importantly, how it has been resolved.
Structured supplementary service data USSD codes are used to check bank account balance, recharge phone lines, and make other transactions in real time without having to go to the bank physically, a technology referred to as magic banking. But the news of the potential service withdrawal by mobile network operators, MNOs, due to some disagreements on the appropriate USSD pricing model for financial transactions has raised concerns, especially among customers who are not tech-savvy to operate online mobile apps. Banking in a post-COVID-19 era is itself a Herculean task, especially with safety protocols in place, which limit access, into the bank, and of course delay time of successful transactions. But taking away some form of comfort from customers who use the USSD codes for quick financial services, many say will make matters worse. Miracle Afolabi is one of them. For her, the move is unacceptable.
I want to buy airtime, and I'm cash strapped. So what do? It will be very, very stressful and annoying. So, and if I want to send money, I don't have apps on my phone. So what do? I have to go to bank to queue or to waste time. Something I can just do in the comfort of my room.
it's not worth it.
Moreover, it's not everybody that owns Android. So now, if a situation that you don't have an Android, you just have the normal phone that you could transfer money to somebody and it's emergency, what will you do?
We're in a cashless banking. That is what we are promoting. That is what advanced country is all about. You can do transaction in the corner, in the comfort of your house. But now they are trying to make it so difficult to us. I don't know.
What Miracle and perhaps many others do not know is that efforts have been made by the federal government to address the issues, which resulted to some key resolutions reached at the end of a meeting chaired by the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Ali Pantami, with relevant parties. A joint statement released by the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) and the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) states that effective March 16, 2021, USSD services for financial transactions conducted at DMBs and all CBN licensed institutions will be charged at a flat fee of 6.98 naira per transaction. This replaces the current per session billing structure, ensuring a much cheaper average cost for customers to enhance financial inclusion. With this development, fears of suspension of USSD codes have been put to rest, and the likes of Miracle can now continue to enjoy magic banking. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
Thank you, Joseph. Now, what killed the goose that laid the golden eggs as machines stopped rolling in the textile industry? Did the authorities fold their arms to watch while the curtains planted wither? Well, Abolade Salami will tell us when News Extra returns.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
The second wave of the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic is upon us.
To safeguard lives of our people, government has signed the Health Protection Regulations, which makes wearing a face mask mandatory in public places.
Wear a mask. Keep social and physical distancing. Avoid crowded places. Wash your hands regularly with soap and clean water. And use hand sanitizer.
COVID-19 is real. Do not be infected. Do not spread it. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
Fresh off a derby win, the Gunners travel to take on the Hammers in another London derby. Will they make it 2 out of 2? Find out as West Ham take on Arsenal at the London Stadium this Sunday on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 3:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Access Bank, Baba Ijebu, Lipton Tea, and Close Up in association with Gold.com.
Thanks for staying. It is good news for Nigerian women as World Trade Organization's Director General Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala unravels platforms to boost trade opportunities towards driving economic growth for Nigerian women. This was during an interactive session with women from different groups and walks of life at the Ministry of Women Affairs. Mamsode Mendati has the details.
An expectant gathering, an excited atmosphere of photo sessions and pleasantries. Then comes the moment everyone has been waiting for, the arrival of Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. That set the ball rolling as women from elective and appointive offices military, police force, civil society groups, development partners, and all take turns to make a case.
So a patriot, somebody who wants to make sure that her people, her country, her women excel.
Who want development, who is happy to help.
Has shown that a woman can get to any level in life as long as you are focused.
We inspire our women to just dream beyond where they are today.
Unanimously, they agree with the submission of the wife of Nigerian president represented and that of women minister.
You know that Nigerian women are great entrepreneurs. They have done so much. So many of them have been so frustrated in their various businesses. God has brought you to this seat to salvage us.
On behalf of Her Excellency, Dr. Mrs. Aisha Muhammad Buhari, stand here to congratulate you. We want to have more of your ties representing us not only in Nigeria but all over the world.
The response of the World Trade Organization DG was as expected.
The WTO cares about the ordinary man and woman on the street. The WTO wants to help redress inequality through trade. The WTO wants to see trade as an engine of economic growth, which is what we all need during this pandemic.
Momso Damien Dati, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Visiting Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, wraps up visit to Nigeria with an interface with women in the micro, small and medium enterprises sector, where she applauded their resilience in the face of trade barriers. Leah Kating Babatunde reports that Director General noted the acceptability of Nigeria wares global and implored those in the fashion industry to capture the African clothing market.
Standing ovation as Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala ends her first official visit as Director General of the World Trade Organization to Nigeria with these interactions with MSMEs. The micro, small and medium enterprises sector in Nigeria accounts for 76% of jobs and nearly 50% the size of GDP, but incomes are still very low. Amid concerns over trade disputes like the fisheries subsidies yet to be resolved, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala tells these women that the WTO wants to partner with them to ensure their products meet acceptable standards and the right market.
We have to begin to think of the transition of this economy and what space we need. We have to map that out to the world to make this transition. 2 decades, 3 decades. But if we don't start now, we'll be in trouble.
The Nigerian Export Promotion Council, NEPC, and some partners are partnering with Nigerian women to gain technical and financial support to bridge the inequality gap in the export industry, are also helping to actualize Nigeria's plans for a zero-oil economy. They are pleased with this meeting.
Nigeria has a lot to contribute to the international marketplace by way of non-oil exports. Hence our vision to make the world a marketplace for Nigerian non-oil products and services.
Dr. Okonjo-Iweala, who assessed some Nigerian registered products ready for the export market, addressed the media.
Why I'm excited, there's a lot of potential, and the WTO, the International Trade Center with the She Trades, will be working with entrepreneurs directly.
She cautioned against fake news, noting that her father had died over a year ago and not on this visit, as reported in some media outlets. In Abuja, Leah Kating Babatunde, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari sends warm greetings to former Minister of National Planning, Chief Ayodele Ogunlade, on his 90th birthday, joining family and friends to celebrate with the veteran journalist and renowned industrialist. The president congratulates Chief Ogunlade on the milestone preceded by many years of hard work in journalism career, beginning as one of the pioneer staff of the first television network in Africa, Western Nigeria Television and Broadcast Service. President Buhari believes that the former minister's proclivity for new careers and testing grounds in business greatly enriched his experience in service to the nation and humanity. The president prays for his well-being and greater grace to serve God and humanity. We're going to Lagos. With little or no attention given to the industry that once served as a honeypot for the country, its long years of neglect caused the nation huge revenue loss and joblessness for the teeming youths and key players in the industries. Machines stopped milling, industries went moribund, while curtains planted withered away as all efforts put into harvesting became futile. How did it get so bad? And what factors were responsible for the dearth of Nigeria's cotton and textile industry? What impact has the federal government and CBN interventions made to revive the sector? Abolade Salami has the answers in our next report.
Nigeria once occupied the front seat of the textile industry in Africa, with over 180 textile mills functioning optimally and a labor force of more than 450,000. The booming industry at the time made huge financial impact on the nation's economy and reflected significantly on the gross domestic product. A few years down the line, things began to fall apart as textile values suffered a massive fall, consequently leaving a handful of factories running. Data shows that just 25% mills survived the hit. Local production of cotton fabrics became unattractive due to a combination of factors largely related to preference for cheaper imported brands. In a bid to revive the cotton and textile sector, the Central Bank of Nigeria approved a loan of 19.18 billion naira for 9 cotton-producing firms, disbursed at a single-digit interest rate. This led to the survival of some mainstream operations, thereby enhancing job creation.
Already the cotton production had empowered about 100,000 farmers, and also it has revived the granaries, and those granaries are also employer of labor. So they increase their employment generation and consequently increase their profitability. And today the contribution to GDP in this sector is great. I don't have the statistic, but I know it has increased from the level that it was before.
As a responsive government that prioritizes the use of domestic products, it directed all ministries, departments, and agencies to give preference to local content in the procurement of goods and services. And this prompted Central Bank of Nigeria collaboration with uniformed agencies in the Southwest, thereby contributing largely to economic growth.
The effort of the CBN under the 5-year policy thrust in context of development financing program is to boost productivity through production of improved seedlings, access to finance for rural farmers. We've seen the result. The other part of the leg now is reviving the textile. And since we have them all over the country, it means that if you revive them, the immediate vicinity, the immediate area where they are, will be able to provide jobs for people. You know, if you look at the AFCTA and then the question of where can we compete, it has been identified that in the textile area we have the potentials, but you must translate your potentials into real concrete steps.
While the Central Bank of Nigeria loan initiative has helped revamp the industry, stakeholders applauded the federal government's policy on economic recovery growth plan. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Now, are Nigerians among the world's largest consumers of beef with average consumption of more than 400,000 tons annually? Well, what about milk consumption? Are we really the lowest globally? Well, anyway, that is what the records of Food and Agriculture Organization says. The good news here is that the federal government has unveiled a new policy to assist in boosting milk and beef production. Let's join Musa Baba Aliu to tell us more about the program.
Should Nigeria be compared with Brazil when it comes to livestock production? Well, veterinary doctors and livestock breeders say the comparison is not necessary. For instance, FAO ranked Brazil as the world's largest producer of livestock, while Nigeria is ranked 14 with only 200 million. However, Nigeria has the second largest population of livestock in Africa after Sudan, followed by Kenya, Tanzania, and South Africa. But these African countries produce more milk and beef, even exporting, while Nigeria is lagging behind.
Other challenges hampering the livestock subsector include inadequate availability of feed and fodder and water.
Ministry of Agriculture identified crossbreeding through artificial insemination as a way to assist breeders who are interested in milk and animal fattening.
This no doubt will improve the livelihood of the pastoral communities and other livestock farmers and support the effort of the ministry in finding a lasting solution to contemporary challenges of livestock value chain.
Emir of Bichi, Nasiru Ado Bayero, encouraged all cattle breeders to key into the federal government's program, believing that it will solve farmers' herders' conflict. In the meantime, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture says it has taken steps to curtail the outbreak of avian influenza, known as bird flu, reported in Plateau, Bauchi, and Kano State. Nigeria has been battling bird flu since 2007, when it affected millions of birds. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And Nigerians may no longer be stranded in foreign lands due to loss or passport damage. This follows the launch of a temporary passport for Nigerians who desire to return home from abroad without the rigors of border control. Victor Azu in the special report examines the prospect of the new passport valid for only a single trip within 30 days.
For so long, Nigerians used the emergency travel certificates to return to the country from abroad, especially in times of emergency. It became a much sought-after document for Nigerians who didn't have their regular passports handy due to loss or damage. This emergency travel certificate, however, created its own problems over the years. The document had no security features and did not meet international standards, giving some countries reasons to disregard it.
Just a one-page paper, each embassy printing its own paper, and given not based on the passport you have lost, but based on the fact that you are a citizen of Nigeria. That could be forgery. Other people outside the mission could issue these documents to Nigerians to return. So it can emanate from some criminal groups resident in such countries, not even from the embassy. And even if it comes from the embassy, the threat is first to the host country, where the Nigerian resides, and to Nigeria as a country.
Enter the new Nigeria Temporary Passport, NTP. A proud Minister of Interior flaunts it as the real deal. The development appears to have been received with enthusiasm by Nigerians abroad, but they still worry about cost and processing time.
What we discovered is that the fees that are charged Nigerians who want to renew their passports is exorbitant, far more exorbitant than you get for other countries, particularly for the United Kingdom. Also, the processing time, the processing efficiency is very low.
The issue of passport is very paramount, and I think the process should be made seamless, and also to make sure that Nigerians actually have the opportunity of getting passports as when due.
They are pretty much the same concerns expressed by the chairman, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri-Erewa. She hopes the policy can be sustained and passports always available.
Not everybody wants an emergency traveling certificate, but for those who do, and there are quite a number, this helps. Number one, you have a document that it looks like a passport that can bring you home in an emergency. And then there's proper documentation. And then it also has security implications positively for the nation. So it's exciting news, particularly for those who always have to travel for one reason or the other during an emergency. And the key thing now is the implementation to ensure that they are available when needed, because we're talking of an emergency.
The Comptroller General of Immigration, Mohammed Babandede, however, says all the concerns have been taken into consideration and implementation will begin in earnest.
This passport costs only $60, unlike the ETC being charged by some commission up to $100. This passport is biometric, it is e-passport, so it will be available. It has only 4 pages in it. and it's only valid for 30 days from the day of issuance. Whether you travel or not, it has expired. And it is only valid for one journey into Nigeria.
That journey into Nigeria using the new temporary passport can be realized as soon as the next 2 months when implementation actually begins. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
And to sports now, Nigeria National League goes tough on poor officiating. This and more on Sports Update.
Hello once again and welcome to Sports Update. I'm Ayo Deji.